here chilling, having a little cold brew, Starbucks style. How the heck are you, Kreepers? It is Clearski. I am back. It is a little after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Normally we get cooking a little earlier. A little busy lately, so we're gonna just creep around today and talk about three things only that you guys might not know about me. That's right, 3 things you guys might not know about the Kreeper, but I gotta get some cold brew in me first, and then we're just gonna kind of creep around and check out a couple things around town and talk to you guys about 3 things. Like I said, you may not know, well, you may actually already, but probably not, so stay tuned. It's gonna be a good one, but first things first. That's good. Sun going down and the silhouette of the church. Oh yeah, let me turn this around. I needed this like nobody's business. So we got the cold brew, which is I don't know if you guys know much about the cold brew, but it's double brewed, so it's really strong. And they brew it with cold water, hence the name cold brew, as opposed to the hot water that kind of strips the bean of its oils and potency. So it's a little easier on your stomach too to go with the cold brew, even though it's colder and it is nighttime. We're just kind of going through the back neighborhoods here, and I was going to chime in with you guys tonight and let you guys know, like I promised, 3 things, like I said, you may not know about me, and you know, no particular order, and it's kind of just, you know, off the cuff. And one, you know, as I was thinking of things I could share with you guys, one instantly came to mind, and that was, you know, here I am holding the coffee and the camera, and normally I have my tripod with me, so it makes it a little easier to maneuver, but left-handed, right-handed, really wouldn't matter, because I am ambidextrous. That's right. Usually, you know, they say strong hand, whatever your strong foot, whatever they call it. I will technically be, you know, left-handed, but interesting story. Growing up, kind of found that out the difficult way. Played a lot of sports, and when it came time to play softball, like all the kids, you know, you get the mitt, and my dad, thinking, you know, just like most of the kids, 90% of the people on the field were throwing left, you know, and catching right, or vice versa. And so I didn't have the right glove, and we found that out fast. But technically, it really wasn't that big of a deal, because I actually kind of made it work. Same with basketball. I can easily shoot left or right. And I found this out growing up also because I would, you know, during class you have assignments and stuff, and you sit at your table and, you know, do your projects. And when I'm, you know, sitting at a desk or writing something, you know, I will be left-handed. Now if I go up to the board and do some work on like the projector or the chalkboard, I found myself writing right-handed. So just kind of strange. And then years later, you know, kind of putting 2 and 2 together more, and figuring out that there were folks, you know, like me that were, I believe I'm saying it right, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's pronounced ambidextrous. So I can actually, you know, write both left-handed and right-handed. Like I said, I choose usually to go, you know, left. And me and my brother would, you know, box and stuff as kids with the neighbor kids, and we would put on the gloves, and a lot of the kids didn't realize I was gonna go left. Or, you know, just in basketball too, we would go right most of the game and then switch it up and go left. So that's just one thing you guys might not know about me, is I am technically ambidextrous. Now I wouldn't sit and write like a whole novel, you know, right-handed, I would probably do left. But if it came down to having to pick, or you know, having to do that, I could maneuver that. So, little interesting tidbit, just one. And we're gonna get up here a ways and I'll share 2 more with you guys. All right, I would have done this, tried to do this in one take, but I had to tie my shoe. My darn shoe came untied. So we're gonna go a couple more things that you guys might find, you know, interesting about me. Like I said, one being ambidextrous, able to, you know, write both hands. And a second thing that you guys might not know about me that I thought was, you know, something that you guys might want to know, or, you know, kind of know about, is I grew up, you know, pretty well off. And there were times though that there was always food in the house, don't get me wrong, but there was times where, probably just like anybody else, you know, we would call it slim pickings, or, you know, just kind of work with what you have. And those times we put together some concoctions, you know, to get by. And there is a lot of food that I, you know, have a pretty good palate for just about anything. I'm pretty much, you know, not a picky eater is what I'm trying to say. I'm basically, you put it in front of me, if I'm hungry, like we learned to, you know, eat it as a kid. We would never, you know, not eat our food. But certain foods in particular kind of, I guess you would say, trigger that kind of feeling. There is one food in particular that to this day I just can't do, and that's tuna fish. You know, I love all kinds of sandwiches. Like I said, I grew up not being a picky eater. Basically, you know, you would eat, like I said, what was on your plate. But tuna fish is one that I just can't do. I can't stand the smell of it. I don't like the taste of it. It kind of, you know, triggers the feeling in me of, you know, just getting by. And so I rarely, if not ever, will eat tuna fish. Like I said, I'm very not picky, and we've been very, you know, blessed to have what we had. And I'm not saying that those times that I had it, I wasn't grateful for it, but oh my gosh, just anybody even opening the can, it just triggers that feeling of, you know, trying to scrape by the smell of it. And so one food in particular, like I said, I'm very not picky. I'll eat just about anything, but I just can't do the tuna fish. So let me know what you guys think about that. Do you know, enjoy eating tuna fish, or what's one of the foods that you just absolutely cannot eat no matter what? I mean, it just the thought of it you know, just the thought of eating tuna fish is enough for me to be like just disgusted by it. And so that's 2 things. And so I'm really interested though as to what you guys as well, you know, you just can't do it. Not to say that if I had to, I wouldn't, but you know, hard pass, hard rain check on the tuna. They're really jamming. That got me thinking about the third thing you guys might not know about me. So, number 1, ambidextrous, right both hands, left, right. Can't stand tuna fish. And the third thing that you guys might not know about me is at one point, for a good, I say 5-6 years out of my life, I was a full-fledged, you know, punk rocker, quote unquote punk rocker. Listened to a ton of punk rock, a lot of ska, a lot of hardcore punk music, you know, spiked hair, leather jacket with the spikes, the whole works. And would frequent a lot of the punk rock shows in Portland. You know, was in my teens in the 90s when grunge music and everything kind of started to get bigger. and then kind of phased from the grunge scene kind of into that punk era. And like I said, that was, you know, already established way farther back before my time. But, you know, early 90s all the way into, oh, I say about 97, 96, completely going to all the shows, couldn't get enough, all kinds of punk music. And yeah, full-fledged, definitely was pretty hardcore about it. Like I said, didn't get into some of the shows because of some of the outfits that I even chose to wear, a lot of the spikes. And I even bought, you know, at one point had really long hair, purchased wood glue and spiked my hair up, and couldn't get into the shows because of some of the outfits that I chose to wear. Check this out, we got Mike Bennett's turtle here as well. Always good to see his work. Wow, he's really far out here. Normally his stuff's over in Southeast. But yeah, I love his artwork. But yeah, full-fledged punk rock. And I didn't really miss a beat, like I said, when it came to the shows. And really not, you know, having the same kind of, I guess you would say, morals and standards that I do today. I was still a good person, you know. I was never like, you know, mean to anybody or anything like that, but definitely, like I said, would frequent those shows, and I don't know, kind of just do stuff that you would, I don't know, consider, definitely stuff that, how about this, definitely stuff that I wouldn't do today. I wouldn't say anything that was, you know, illegal, that was highly, you know, crazy or too wild, but, you know, just kind of mischievous stuff that, you know, kids will do pretty much no matter what. But I found myself to kind of grow out of that style. I still do listen to a lot of punk rock. Not to say that, you know, just because that lifestyle isn't what I do anymore, that I don't enjoy, you know, a lot of the same music that I listened to when I was still, you know, kind of in that zone. Sometimes I'll actually play some Ramones, or heck, I'll even put on some Ozzy Osbourne once in a while just to kind of get going and get pumped up. But definitely don't do the spikes or the shows really much anymore. Now, if a good band came to town, I'd probably go see it. You know, the music venues in Portland definitely aren't the same as they were in the 90s. Now, if those bands, well, any of the bands that I would see back then are pretty much all big name bands now. So I was pretty lucky to, you know, be in the era of music that was kind of coming up, and now they're, you know, all basically really established bands at this point. I would see 4 or 5, 6 bands for $6, $7, and they're all, you know, huge, big name, you know, basically huge venues now that would be sit down shows with the whole family. So definitely nothing like, you know, the punk rock days in the Portland downtown scene, but definitely miss those days for sure. That's gonna do it for today. If you guys are new here, make sure you hit that red subscribe button. You can ring that bell, that way when I creep, you guys will be the first to creep. Pretty nice sunset. Thanks for listening. I love you guys. Oh, make sure you give it a thumbs up too, and you can also share it out. Love you guys. Kreeper out for now. Peace.